Next, we're going to sort of smarten up our paper with a little bit of information from a scholarly journal. So I am going to, in fact, let me take this out of here. I'm going to show you how that would work. Okay, so again, you would go to Tools and Research. And once more, if you've been going back and forth, it should be in there. But since I've been turning it off, I'm going to copy and paste again into the search line. And obviously everything that's on the web will show up, but I am now looking for information to see what's in scholarly journals. Now, with scholarly journals, a lot of times whether it's online or in journals that get sent out to individuals, they are published in these articles published in the journal. The journals themselves, usually it costs money to be able to get those. So you will find on these journals that you cannot open the whole thing and take information from them. But if you, depending on the level of research you're doing and the level of grade, the student is that they're doing this, they may use articles like this, or they may not. But for our purposes, something that I thought might be interesting to do, because I found an article when I was going through the titles about attitudes and inaction, and they did a case study on why people do or do not conserve water based on demographics. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and thought, well, I could still include something about that even without without purchasing and having the entire article. To do that, I, of course, I'd actually start by inserting the title of the article, because that will help me when I'm typing out the sentences to say where it comes from. I could go back and revise this a little bit later to have it in the area I want it, but at least I'll have it on there. Then I would also go ahead and cite it as a footnote, because I know I'm going to include something and I want it to be noted in my bibliography information. So I go ahead and do that. The next thing I would do is, in this article, you'll notice when you hover over that article that you're looking at, not only do you have these choices of cite and footnote and an insert, but you also have a link up here where it's a PDF. But when you click on it, and I'm going to show you here, you do not, and this is the way most of these scholarly articles will be, you will not get the full article, because that often costs money, as I've said. So what you can get some of the time would be an abstract of the article. The nice thing about that is, if you're not really intending to look for information from this article to cite the whole thing, you could possibly look at the abstract to talk about what they did study and maybe some of the things they noticed. So if you wanted to include something like that, like I thought that it was interesting, they did this in San Antonio, and they were looking at differences in demographics to see if it made a difference in the way people responded to both voluntary and mandatory water conservation measures. And so I kind of want to include that in there. So I'm going to highlight it and copy it, and then go back. You can also do the split screen style like I've shown you before, but I'm just going to go ahead and go back, and I'm going to put my cursor before the citation number, and I'm going to go ahead and paste that in there. Now, I'm going to put this in quotations. I may go back later and summarize it in my own words, but for now, I'm putting the quotations there as a reminder, and I would show your students that this was actually from the abstract of the text, and they may even want to include that. The something like that to include it, because they can go back and revise later, but at least that will say where they got it from. The quotations will let them know that's the word for word, and it's cited for them. Later, they can go back and decide if they want to summarize or include it or take it out altogether, but it's there for them.